How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Bosnian bank robber here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Let's probably take this off because I won't be able to breathe otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves some Pokemon rumors, Pokemon leaks you guys will enjoy. Let's get started right away. First things first, we've got a post here from Amashinu, just sharing some posts, some leaks that have been coming out recently. But the biggest thing is going to be this right here. Now, this is what it says. Lysandre is alive. He lost one eye, but is immortal, like his ancestor, Z. You'll encounter him in various locations, from Z Hotel to the A of Prism Tower. He's also reformed, now allies with Zygarde, and joins you because I guess he wants to save Lubio City. Mega Gyarados remains his ace, and this Lysandre fan art is very accurate, which I'm gonna tell you right now, yes, it is very accurate. There have been images in Discord servers, but there's also been images in privates that have been sent, and I've gotten some sneak peeks on some of that stuff. Nothing sent directly to me, but I've seen sneak peeks of some actual gameplay image leaks and stuff, and that art right there is close. It's very, very similar to what's been seen, but ladies and gentlemen, it is crazy because yes, Lysandre is back, and he's gonna be called simply L, right? Which is funny, but yes, L is going to be his name. He's going to be back in this game, and it is very interesting to see how they're going to be doing this, like what the deal with the story is going to be. But it doesn't end there, though, because all these leaks, you might be wondering to yourself, where is all this coming from? Well, basically, it all originates from the giant Terra leak of last year, right? The giant Terra leak that took place. Well, that leak basically spawned into existence all this stuff, because whoever got hands on the giant, like, Game Freak, you know, like server and all the information has gone and given it to a bunch of different people, and now those people are slowly but surely disseminating the info and putting it out there into the wild. So just keep that in mind. It is where it's all coming from. It is legit, by the way. Like, this stuff has been proven because the said leakers, I mean, I've seen some proof of some stuff. Again, I haven't seen everything. A lot of people just will send me stuff randomly. I'll get random people sending me stuff, people like hitting me up, sending me emails, sending me DMs, whatever you want to call it, of different things. And again, it's just tidbits. I haven't seen the giant everything. These people have all this information, but through the tidbits I've seen, there has been stuff that proves this stuff to be real. But of course, there's always a chance it could be fake. But let's be honest, it's 99.99999% real. Which brings us to the next thing, which is going to be a massive post that was put together over on Reddit. Specifically, this post right here, which was put together by Icy Concentration C, who put together a really, really, really good post here, which kind of compiles all the information as of recent, so we can take a look at all of it without having to, like, sort of, you know, go through a million different posts on a million different places. Instead, it's all in one location. So let's go through everything that was posted, and then also in future videos, we'll explain things further and see what's, you know, what's going on. So, starting things off at the bottom here, we have, of course, Sycamore, as well as our human character and the starter Pokemon. This probably is implying that in some way or shape we are related to Sycamore, our main character we play as. Who I think is called Max? Was it Max? Maximilian? I don't know, something like that. I don't remember what the name was of our main character, but it does seem like we are related to Sycamore in some way and or shape, because we do look very similar to Sycamore, oddly enough. Then the next thing is, there was a picture here of just simply two colors, I guess red and, or kind of like, yeah, like red and white, and then a picture of Mega Absol, and apparently there might be something happening with Absol. They just said rogues or rouges or something underneath here, and then a picture that points towards one of the screenshots here of a Mega Evolution happening. This relates to Absol being the off-screen Pokemon in this image that turns rouge. So yes, it is possible that Absol might be getting a new Mega of sorts, or an extra Mega or something like that. It is stuff I have heard about, so always possible that it might be getting another Mega. Now, another thing I want to point out right now is that people assumed that there were going to be about 27 to 26 Megas, with Zero Aura being the one that was canceled. However, the actual number seems more like 32. That's the number that seems like the most reasonable and logical one. The reason I say that is because for a long time, that's the number that's been thrown around in the background, and now it's finally coming to the surface that might be the actual total number. But those 32 Megas were not all going to be in the game right away. A few of them, probably like everything beyond the first 26, so another potentially like what? Another 6 or so will be probably in some sort of update or something like that. Like, people have said maybe in the form of DLC, because they might have been planning to do a DLC at first. But again, it's all a lot of, you know, it's a lot of conjecture and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it actually turns out. But let's move on to the rest of the post. The next thing is from Ball Guy here. Now, the Discord he had there has been deleted. So the Discord server where this was posted has disappeared. But we still have the images, which says Quasar Tico doesn't want them being in the public eye. What he's referring to here is maybe megas or the battles that take place, right? Like the big battles that we are taking part of, the whole Z Royale or ZA Royale. So maybe that's what they're talking about. Then they say Professor is Mabel, and they're talking about, I guess, the one of the admins, actually, oddly enough, one of the admins from Team Flare, potentially being the person that we go to as Professor, which is going to be a really weird twist. They even have a pretty awesome, fan art down here. I don't know who drew this fan art. I kind of would love to like credit them if I use this in the thumbnail, but I apologize if I do not know who did it. My bad. But then we also see a image of, I guess, whatchamacallem, what is his name? Vinny, right? Vinny. We see Vinny and rank M. So this would imply that his rank in the, like, he's going to be in the actual ladder, and his rank in that ladder is going to be, like, in the, the whole ZA, like, system, that he's going to be part of it, but his rank's going to be M, which is right around the middle, right? Like pretty around the middle. So there's that. Moving on, they also say here, Sycamore gives the Kanto starters. Not really sure where the Hoenn comes in. No, they're in though. So yes, the Hoenn starters are also in there, which would mean that all the mega starters that should exist do exist. Doesn't mean every single one exists. There's, of course, not going to be any Johto ones. There's not going to be any Gen 4 ones, stuff like that. But the ones that do exist will all be in this game. So the Gen 3, the Gen 1, the Gen 6, and now technically a mix of Gen 2 and Gen 5, right? Because you'd be getting, Tepig getting a Mega, Chikorita getting a Mega, and of course Totodile getting a Mega. So it's weird, but it's interesting. Then they say in the process of giving them to the process of giving you them, you learn relationship to the main character. So that's where I guess you learn that Sycamore and your main character are related, I would assume. That would make sense. And then Kalos are just in the wild. So Kalos starters will just be in the wild. You're not going to have to be receiving a Kalos starter. They're just going to be out there. You'll be able to just pick them up in the wild, which is fair enough. Also, my nose is itchy. I don't know why. But either way, moving on. ZA Royale progression isn't entirely linear. You skip like 10 ranks. Hope this puts the 26 trainers for each mega thing to rest, lol. Because yes, people have a theory. Because like there's, how many letters in the alphabet? And this don't think that's, how'd you not know? I live in a different country, and in the rest of the world, there are more letters in some alphabets. In the Bosnian alphabet, there's more letters. But letters in English alphabet comes out to about 26. There you go. Perfect. So people had the theory, of course, that since there were going to be 26 new megas, and there's 26 letters in the alphabet, that every single one of those trainers they had to do to progress further, that all of those trainers would essentially be having one of the megas out of the 26, which would have been cool, but according to Ball Guy, that's not going to be the case. But remember, what they're talking about here and what Ball Guy and these guys have access to is probably images and information from an earlier alpha build of the game. There is always a possibility that they could have added more shit along the way that wasn't, there in that build of the game that was basically stolen. But that's what they say, So they say, put that, you do see them all, though, through normal gameplay, though. Point is, you skip around a lot. This is, again, where the story arcs in between progression take the lead. Also, Vinny's rank is M, a freebie. So you just put that out there. So yeah, that's the first page of this information. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions, but let's move on to the next piece of info. So, again, a lot of the stuff is coming from us to us from Ball Guy. Let's start from the top. So, first mega you get is Lucario. So, that doesn't really surprise. It's the same thing as they did in X and Y. So, again, not that crazy, but that's fair enough. Then they say, then they have, I think, a question here. Somebody asking, does Emma wear detective clothing with a tie, or is it just a plain up business suit that's not black? And then Ball Guy responds with detective outfit with a tie. Yes. Is it blue? And then except no trench. So basically a straight up like detective outfit, basically just doing what Looker looked like. So that should be pretty fair. Lysandre looks exactly like this, and this is literally that art we talked about of what Lysandre would look like. Then we also see Ball Guy saying, when art is more of a leak than an actual leak is, show this some love. 1-to-1, this is exactly how you will find him. I kid you not. This is the second coming of someone showing Masuda the Alola starter final evolutions, which, yes, that is, yeah, more or less. Then he says, Ball Guy over here on the left side, L talks about Zygarde's Mega Evolution, reminding him of a Z move, but he tells you, I must have been mistaken. Okay, interesting. And then he says, yep, find my cells, and it's from Zygarde from Pokemon Legends EA, and then you also fight the player from time to time before teaming up. So this is implying that we are going to be actually beefing our character here, as you guys can see. Whoops, my arm. Our character is going to be beefing with Zygarde early on, because Zygarde is going to be actually working around alongside Lysandre rather than us, which is fine. Then they say here, gives you Pebble, found out it's actually the stone later. So yeah, it gives us just a random rock, and that rock ends up being Zygardite, which will be evolving Zygarde into its Mega Evolution, of course. And then they say Dex is currently around 230 Pokemon, Zygarde being 230 specifically. So that's the range. Again, not that surprising. Keep in mind, this is a Legends game, and Legends games seem to be like games where they want to focus more on like everything else besides the collecting part of the game, right? Like, because there's so many less Pokemon, and it's just like with Legends, Arceus, where you didn't have a lot of Pokemon to capture, but it was all the stuff around you had to do to sort of keep you entertained, which is fine. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's all in regards to Lysandre that we know and stuff like that, and Zygarde. But let's move on to the next page, which is more questions. So here is where they say Emma gets her Mega from a former Team Flare member who is now reformed with a new name. Which I'm guessing could be the professor or somebody. Oh, no, it's going to be this guy. And then they say, at Ange, this is one for you. Now, Angie, or Ange, or whatever you want to call it, is supposed to be related to the letter A in the ZA logo, and supposedly might be a new Pokemon. Again, that's like not really super clear, but they say both the Pokemon and the person took... what the... Okay, so that's implying that it's going to be Malamar, because what they've said about Malamar, the whole joke is that it's basically lost a lot of weight. It's much skinnier. And then they also say that her age is going to be 25 to 28 years old. Fair enough. And then here they also say all the relations is just implied to be AZ bloodline, not like necessarily an exact confirmed parenthood of on Tawny and Urbane. So just kind of like implying that they're related down here, but again, not really saying it. And then they also say, I'm calling him... sir, and they say Grisham, he got a tan, and I guess they're talking about this guy being the character who gives them that, gives her specifically, what does he give her? Like an outfit? I don't even know. Like, let's see. Emma gets her Mega. Oh, Mega. That is what it is. Then they go on and say, I think she looks a good bit older than these. No, but like mid to late 20s. So that's the age thing. And then they say L opens his closed eye when Zygarde delivers the final blast. No Mega Keystone stuff, but it's revealed he's blind through the eye. So again, spoilers for story. If you haven't already realized, just don't watch this if you don't want story spoilers. And no returning gym leaders, apparently. One survives. Could be either. Then AZ dies. Thank God. Could be either. Both are redeemed. Never said the blast is what causes it. One of the immortals will die. So one of these two, AZ or Lysandre, will meet their end, according to this. Moving on, though, we have some more stuff, which is interesting. So, post-game content after the main story. Episode X, Y, and Z. Apparently, this could be a possibility, right? Because they did do a very similar thing in Legends Arceus, so it's always a possibility they could do that here too. But basically, they say here, Xerneas and Yveltal don't appear in the main story. Yep, post-game episode X and Y attracted by Ange's energy to the city. Okay. Forgot to mention, there's also a Z episode. Oh yeah, right. Angie is supposed to be actually the ultimate weapon, like a new form of ultimate weapon. Forgot to mention, there's also a Z episode post-game. 3 alphas, then Xerneas, 3 megas, then Yveltal, Z, and then main story day progression is combination of calming down your alphas and rogues. They are separate. Okay. And then, what if Lysandre changes and he's a good human being? He's present at the final battle. Yeah, I haven't said... And then somebody says, so with all these Master Story leaks, are you hiding any surprises? Yeah, I haven't said a word about the final boss or what L has for you. Okay. Fan art, Ball Guy approved to be nearly identical to the real thing. So this is what, like, you can expect those 3 megas to look like, which, fair enough. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, this is it's pretty close, I guess, to whatever they're going to look like. Then we move on, and this is where things change a little bit. So this is from a different Discord server. So the Ball Guy Discord gone. There's a new Discord server, and on that Discord server, there's been 2 people that have been posting. There has been 2 individuals. One of them is Moot, and the other person is Cowman. So shout out to the 2 of them. But Cowman has been tweeting stuff, and Moot's been tweeting stuff. So what's the deal? Well, here's what Moot said. An altered ultimate weapon brings to life new weird megas. So that's how they're going to introduce the new megas, I guess, right? That's how, like, new ones will come into existence. Then, or it's the source of the bad energy disrupting Mega Evolution and making them unstable. There's definitely is not a character you meet early in the game who's trying to figure out the source of the energy, and the anime certainly doesn't have a parallel or outright spoilers for what it is. This isn't a secret chat, so I will never post relevant info in it because I'm a special leaker. And then he goes and says, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Mega Floette is a boss. Okay, so they're, I guess, implying that that's going to be the boss battle affected by... Wait, no, or just a regular boss battle. causing it to go rogue. There are 32 planned megas, and there's that number again, 32. And then some may be cut or added leading up to the release, depending on how they're feeling. And then, of course, they say causes, and then there's like, of course, this thing that's happening at the tower, this Ange thing, an altered ultimate weapon, which causes megas to go berserk, and then gives life to new megas that look weird, right? Which is the ones that we were going to be getting, the new ones, yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Also, I might have to blur parts of this over here, but that's pretty much it. I don't really think we've really missed anything. I think that pretty much summarizes everything for this video. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. I don't really know if there's anything I could else say. If you guys want to check out this post on your own, just go on r/PokeLeaks on Reddit right here. If you just go on here, you'll be like the first post you'll see. It's this one right here. So in case you want to go and look up the stuff on yourself, you can do that. But that's pretty much it. That pretty much summarizes things from this end. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys feel about all this? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? All that kind of stuff. Let me know. And of course, as per usual, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.